Hey everyone, it's a 2-week post-surgery update video. Still doing well, really well. Just came back from my 2-week doctor's visit, so I'll talk about that. As far as updates just generally, again, I'm doing really well. Walking. Starting last week, I think in the last video I mentioned that I'm walking daily, and started that really in earnest last week, and I am twice a day walking roughly 4 to 6 miles total. Honestly, I could do more. It's just it's a hassle logistically, quite frankly. And what I mean by that is I just joined, to make it easier, I just joined for a month the local community center, which is a gym, and they have an indoor track. So I used to be a member there, so I was familiar with it. Fairly safe when the kids aren't bouncing balls all over the place. It's about a 25-minute walk to get there and 25 back. And in this heat, that's kind of annoying, but at least while I'm in there, I get air conditioning. So my plan is to get a ride either to or from, probably from, get there, put in a 2 or 3 miles per day, and then either, earlier in the day or later in the day, depending on when I feel like doing that, I'll go somewhere else, and or just if it's cooler at night, I'll walk outside and get some miles in, just to keep it moving. I really think that helps with the shoulder tightness and other issues that people run into. I've noticed when I walk that if I do have any, and I rarely do, but when I do get some tightness, it goes away from that walking motion. Also, I'm feeling the middle finger, the numbness is starting to resolve, thankfully. These two are still pretty bad, but changing, they go from fully numb to a weird feeling to, but again, as I've said in the previous videos, my handwriting is not bad. It's getting better, and it's pretty good. I tie my shoes, no problem now, whereas before that was a struggle because of these fingers weren't working. So I have those fine motor skills back, which is cool. So you might notice a couple of days ago, I gave in and shaved. The beard was driving me nuts, particularly in the hard collar. It just was so itchy and uncomfortable. I finally, shaved down to just above the incision. So, and then yesterday I shaved again and got pretty close. I'm gonna pull this collar off for you in a moment. So had my 2-week visit, not with my surgeon, unfortunately. It was with a local nurse practitioner that they had assigned for this. Nothing unexpected, which is good. Nothing unexpected. One thing that came up, so on day 10, which was about, I guess, 4 days ago, this bruise, I don't know if it shows up, my ugly hairy arms, but right there, you could see it. That bruise, the underside of my right arm, big long bruise, just appeared out of nowhere. It was slightly sore that morning. Maybe I bumped it. I don't think so. I posted online to the ACDF Facebook group, and someone promptly said, hey, that's from an IV. And at first I didn't believe her, but then she posted a picture of hers and from when it came up, and sure enough, it looked exactly like this. So sure enough, I talked to the nurse practitioner today, and she said she didn't seem like it was a common thing. She seemed a little wow about it, but she said that should be the IV. Without me prompting or leading the witness, she said it was the IV. So I asked, hey, if 2 weeks goes by and it's still there, what do I do? She dodged that one and just said it should go away pretty quickly. So we'll see. Steri strips. So time for the incision reveal, which is actually, I haven't looked at it myself. So there we go. Oof, boy, can't tell from my iPhone here, but boy, that looks nasty. I'd love to walk around the community center with that showing, just to get some reactions. Steri strips were not falling off. Like, they were slightly, a few of them. She just started, at first she said, you know, they'll fall off, but then she started pulling at some and they just started coming off. So she just wound up, I believe she pulled them all off. Found out this morning I do have sutures, but they're in there, embedded, and so they'll just dissolve on their own. So she removed the steri strips. Obviously, the incision's now exposed. She advised that I take the collar off when I'm just sitting around at the house. Take it off and let this breathe, which I think is a good idea. I was thinking I was going to do that anyway, so I will. Otherwise, as far as collar protocol, yes, I asked, can I drive? Absolutely not, because A, it put you at risk as far as sudden movements of your spine, and B, it's illegal in Pennsylvania apparently, so who knew? I wasn't going to drive anyway. I wasn't comfortable yet, but regardless, I can't. So that answered that question. I'm still required to wear the hard collar outside of the house, the soft collar in the house for comfort, and the Philly collar for showering, which I didn't tell the nurse practitioner, but as of 2 days ago, I stopped doing that. That collar is too tight around my neck, especially now without the steri strips. I mean, it like chokes me here. Like, it's just not a good fit. And I am very, very attuned to not moving my head much, or my neck. I'm moving my shoulders. So I am more than comfortable showering. I slowly shower without the collar now, and it allows me to shave right afterwards as well. Weight restrictions I'm still limited to, I think she said 8 pounds. I asked specifically about vacuuming and mowing my lawn. She said no. She said there's some debate about that because of the vibration of it. The lawn mowing is more than, that's a weight lifting, especially my lawn. I've got like a really slopey lawn, so I knew that was a bad idea. But the vacuuming I was curious about. She said no. Cardio exercise, I said, hey, I'm walking 5 miles a day roughly. Can I at least use a treadmill to walk? And she said, you know, the reality is we probably overdo it with the collar, the hard collar. It's to stop any sudden jerky movements, extreme movements. I think that was the word that she said. There's no problem with using a treadmill to walk, as long as you can guarantee you're not going to fall off that treadmill or trip or anything like that. I wish I'd have known that a while back, a couple weeks ago. I probably would have bought a cheap treadmill for my house, but I just signed up for that 30-day pass at the local community center, and while they have treadmills, they have the really nice indoor track, so I'll just stay. That's more fun. I never really liked treadmills anyway. Again, it's treadmills to walk, not to go jogging or running. The only real, aside from this beauty of a scar, the only real kind of artifact or trauma or whatever evidence of this surgery right now physically is I have a atrophied right arm, which started, you can see it's kind of pointy there because of just stuff sticking out. You could see how bony that is versus that side. These were measured, my arms were measured by a cervical spine specialist and a fabulous surgeon, because logistically I couldn't go to him for my surgery. But he's located up in New York City, which is on a really lucky drive. It's only 3 hours to downtown Manhattan. So I opted for someone more local who's a great surgeon. But anyway, when I consulted with that New York surgeon, he said I should regain all my strength What I should have asked about was the atrophying, the muscle tone. He did talk about that would take a long time to recover, to rebuild, just because of my age. The nurse practitioner this morning indicated that this may never come back, that it may always be atrophied, but my strength would come back. That doesn't really connect for me. That doesn't jive. Sounds a little fishy. If you're building strength, you've got to build muscle, right? But hey, maybe we're going to find out, because as soon as I got home and I told the nurse practitioner I was going to do this, we've got some, I believe they're 5, maybe 8-pound dumbbells that my wife has. I grabbed those and started doing curls, 3 by 10. And quite frankly, very close right versus left strength, bicep. Then I did tricep, just 10 reps of that, just to see, because I think that's really where the atrophy is on this side. I didn't really feel a big strength difference, which is good. So I just want to get this arm, not for vanity purposes. It really is. It looks eerily skinny compared to the other arm. And I've never been a big arm guy, but I don't want to, I'd like to resolve that. That's the biggest concern right now. I asked about PT. They're not going to do that early for me. It's going to be after the 6-week visit with my surgeon. And then the last thing is she prescribed an X-ray that I need to get done a day or two before I visit with my surgeon at the 6-week mark, and then they'll review the X-rays. So that's it for now. Maybe I'll post another one between now and my 6-week visit, but I'll definitely do one after, of course. So if you're scheduled for this or recovering along, stay positive and keep moving, and I'll see you next time. Take care.